folks. My name is Usha Kelly Maharaj. I've been hosting this YouTube channel for the last couple of months. The goal has been to support teachers who are moving towards academic pathways in Ontario especially. I'm very pleased that we are making some grounds in what we're doing here in Ontario, and I'd like to thank all of the teachers who have been supportive about what we're doing and who have been in their own way moving us towards this goal. I'd also like to say thank you to subscribers. I know we're a small group, but the fact that there are educators who are passionate about that and who are working on that is really thrilling to see. I've been away for, I would say, about the last 8 to 10 weeks. I've not done very much on the channel, and the primary reason for that is I was exhausted. The pandemic was an unusually harsh year for teachers and students, and my last quadmester I had no prep and we were fully virtual, and it was a very unpleasant experience in many ways. The kids were amazing, they were wonderful, but they were struggling and they were tired. And the truth of the matter is, to have human beings on the internet learning together all day long isn't something that our minds are meant to do. We human beings do not function well behind a computer. And during that time, I felt that spending extra time making videos was just not helpful. Every day when I got off the computer with my students, I did not want to go back on, and it was as simple as that. So I walked away from making videos, but I'm back. However, for the summer, I have decided to make a slightly different tactic to my videos. Instead of talking about pedagogical issues, I've decided to start up a series called In the Garden, and it's about science in the garden. One of the things we learned about life during the pandemic was that we had to learn to do things a little bit differently. When we went full virtual, I lost my lab. There was no laboratory to do a lot of the science that we would do with the students, and so it was really difficult to bring meaning and application to the lessons that we were doing. You did your best, you used the videos, the simulations, but the real science, really showcasing the science, happened when we walked into the garden. And the garden was key to helping students see what we could do and how the science is applied and how it's taking form in the garden. And it was a great place to run lessons, actually. So much so that it really drove the point that, we really should be running more of our lessons in the garden. And the kitchen, for that matter. The kitchen was another amazing place to run my science lessons. But the garden was really a special place to run science lessons. And I have to say, I've been guilty of not running a lot of my lessons outdoors, and that's something I'd like to change. So I am going to do a series over the summer which is called In the Garden, where we are going to be doing different concepts of science that we do in our Ontario curriculum, primarily in the biology program, that it's illustrated in the garden, or we're employing it in the garden because you can see it here. My hope is two things. I hope that this maybe might broaden the appeal of the channel, so that because it might have meaning to people who aren't interested in things about education, but who would love to understand the science behind what they do in the garden. I'm hoping we might pick up a few viewers for that, because I think it would be fun that more people understood what they do, why they do it in the garden. Like, there's meaning to it. The other thing I'm hoping is that it encourages us as educators to take our kids outside more often. That it's not something we do just for special field trips or for special, investigations, but that it's an everyday occurrence, that we would go outside and we would do our science in the field. And even if that field is the outside field, the one outside the classroom window, there's some real benefit in that. So that's what my hope is. I also hope that it encourages more and more teachers to start up their school gardens, and to see that these gardens are places of learning, not just places to enjoy ourselves, even though they are very much that. So that's what the next set of videos will be. I'll be working on that all summer long because it's a nice place to work anyways, out in the garden. And maybe during the winter months I will go back to the more traditional design of lessons. We'll see. I'll just play this as it goes. I would like to, however, dedicate this series of videos, the one in the garden, I'd like to dedicate it to 3 people. Firstly, I would like to dedicate this to my husband, because there are 3 things that every gardener is short of: time, money, and skill. And my husband has been very important in providing all of these three things for me in the garden. In order for me to be in the garden, he's often picking up extra work in the house. And he's also, a budget is something shared. He has to be amenable to share, how much money gets sunk into the garden. And finally, there's a lot of things I simply don't have the skill or the strength to do. And he's the one lugging the rocks around, cutting the trees for me, etc. And I would really like to say thank you to him for that. The other person I'd like to dedicate the series to is a teacher who I hope he doesn't mind, because I haven't cleared that I'm going to say his name out in this video, but John Winfield worked with me this year. He came in as a retired teacher to support the students when we were short a teacher in our school, and he worked with the students. And John Winfield is one of those teachers who always did buy into the best classroom is the one outside, and he wouldn't stop with you need to take the kids out. They need to get out. It is not healthy for them to be inside so long. John, you were right. Thank you so much for pushing me. I promise that you have made such an impact on my teaching that I will even try to get outside in the winter. I know I hate the cold, but I promise I will do it sometimes, even if not as often as when it's warm. And finally, I would like to recognize that I am very much inspired by a particular YouTuber when it comes to garden, things in the garden. I enjoy watching his videos just because I enjoy watching his garden. And his name is James Prigioni. I hope I pronounced his name correctly, but I'll put a link to his videos below. He has a very different style of gardening, and I really enjoy watching his garden because it is, to me, a garden that is very accessible. He grows what he calls a food forest, and I think his garden illustrates a lot of beautiful principles of biology too. So I hope you enjoy these series. I hope that you see that what we do in the classroom, very much that being outside is a perfect place to teach it. Okay, so every video will be focused in this series on a topic. The first one is going to be succession. We'll be doing biochemistry. We'll be doing genetics. We'll do the whole range of biology, but we'll do it in the garden for this summer. So see you around. Bye.